Hello, welcome to Total Gemini. Let's hop on this computer over here and get started with this episode. Thanks for joining. Let's get going. Welcome to our weekly astrology podcast. This is for June 30th through July 6th of 2024. I am your host, Angie. All right, let's get going. On my podcast, we discuss the upcoming week. I review the planets, the locations, and the start of the week with a brief highlight on the sun and the moon placements and how they relate to us astrologically. I often highlight interesting events to expect and sometimes some historical stuff thrown in for the heck of it. And then I get into the meat of the episode, and what most of you came here for are the weekly insights. I prefer to call them insights because I believe in free will. For example, whether the forecast is positive or negative and you are made aware ahead of time, you have the power to choose to go with the flow or consciously choose not to. This show is for everyone, all astrological signs. I do, however, reserve a section at the end specifically for Geminis. So, hey, you Geminis out there, stick around to the end for your Gemini-specific information. This week, we start with the Sun in Cancer in the 4th house and the Moon in Aries in the 1st house. Here are the planetary placements for the beginning of the week. The Sun in Cancer in the 4th house. The Moon in Aries in the 1st house. Mercury in Cancer in the 5th house. Venus in Cancer in the 5th house, Mars in Taurus in the 2nd house, Jupiter in Gemini in the 3rd house, Saturn in Pisces in the 1st house, Uranus in Taurus in the 2nd house, Neptune in Pisces in the 1st house, Pluto, Aquarius, 11th house. With the moon being so close to us, it seems to have the strongest effect on us. And trust me, if you don't believe this, you talk to any emergency room nurse or police officers, and they'll tell you there's something about the full moon. Okay, so since we start with the moon in Aries in the 1st house, let's talk about the moon. The moon moves more swiftly than other astronomical bodies and thus represents a day-to-day and moment-to-moment movements, adjustments, and preoccupations. The moon is the symbol of personal life, which is molded and shaped by our environment. Furthermore, the moon governs our internal world and subconscious mind. It shows our responses to life, which are based on our past habits, experiences, our heritage, and our individual and collective cravings. It's associated with feelings, emotions, and mood. Now, that's a lot, and we will go over it more further episodes and so forth. If you're familiar with my episodes, you will know that we review things often in the beginning of each episode before we get to insights. So if you want to learn about the planets, the houses, and the aspects and stuff, you come and watch the beginning of each episode and you will learn those. All right. Okay, so the moon in the 1st house. So the 1st house, the cusp of this house is the ascendant. This house rules how the world sees you, how you look, act, your presentation of yourself to others. Sometimes you may not feel like your sun sign. So if you're a Gemini, but you don't really feel like a Gemini, your ascendant might be more prevalent. So that's it's your outward appearance, displayed disposition, and sense of self. So there you have it. And then Aries. Aries is the cardinal fire sign. The symbol is the ram. Ruling planet is Mars. It rules the 1st house, and the color is red. The mode, cardinal, likes to take the lead, initiates activity, and action-oriented. And then the element is fire, which is intense and fiery, passionate about things, and energetic. All right. Something cool in the sky to see on July 1st. You can see the moon and Mars in proximity to each other, really close. They'll be on the eastern horizon about 2 to 3 hours before sunrise. So if you want to get up early and see the moon and Mars close together, go check it out. first thing in the morning, they will also be hanging out in the constellation Aries. So if you see that, that's Aries over there. All right, July 2nd, Neptune goes retrograde and ends its retrograde on December 7th. So July 2nd, Neptune goes retrograde. Okay, and some historical interests. Sometimes I do these, sometimes I don't. We're doing them this time. July 1st, happy birthday to Dan Aykroyd and Missy Elliott. July 3rd, happy birthday to Tom Cruise. And July 4th, 1776, the United States Declaration of Independence is adopted by the Second Continental Congress. And July 6th, happy birthday to 50 Cent. Okay, insights for the week, and these are for everybody. This should have a general umbrella over all of us. So, June 30th. Hey there, your interactions with others might be a bit wacky right now because old feelings and biases are crashing the party. It's like a blast from the past. Time to let it all out and air out your grievances. Don't hold back. Personal stuff is on the menu, so get ready to reminisce, daydream, and reflect on the good old days. Let's dive into some deep chats and have a laugh while you're at it. On June 30th, friendships and love connections are totally your favorite right now because you're all about being lovey-dovey. It's super warm and super responsive to lovey-dovey stuff from others. That's nice. Okay, love is in the air. July 2nd. Now is a perfect moment to get your money matters in order because you're as sharp as a tack, and even if you're playing it safe, you're on a roll. It's about splurging on fancy stuff that will only get better with age. So bling and fancy art, stuff that ages well. July 3rd, it's like a wild ride for uncovering and discussing super secret, hush hush, and off limit topics. Your brain is on fire with curiosity, and your chats with folks are on the next level. So, no more fluff or cliches. It's all about diving deep. And July 5th, in this era, the key themes are all about being disciplined, a disciplined ninja, enduring through snooze fest and hustling in stealth mode on a shoestring budget. You've got the superpower to focus like a laser beam, be meticulous as fuck, and achieve something small but seriously legit right about now. July 6th, you're like a superhero with boundless energy and bravery, ready to take on any challenge that comes your way. Your productivity levels are through the roof, especially when it comes to getting physical. If you're into sports, watch out, world. You're a fierce competitor and full of vigor. Confidence? Oh, it's sky high. This is very good stuff. I like it. Okay, Geminis, July 2nd. You're like a supercharged ball of energy, bursting with dreams and excitements for new adventures. You might be a tad too confident at times, diving headfirst into challenges without thinking twice. You're not afraid to take risks, whether it's trying something daring or putting your faith in your own abilities. It's all about believing in yourself and going for it. Also on July 2nd, you're feeling extra wigged out by any funky vibes in your space or with your peeps, and you're totally not up to deep talks or spicy debates. Plus, wrapping your head around tough tasks is like trying to juggle flaming marshmallows right now, so don't do it. July 3rd, you're like a curious cat on a mission, seeking the juicy truth nuggets buried deep in the soil of every problem you've ever seen in your whole life. Superficial answers won't cut it for you anymore. Nope. You want the good stuff. You're like a detective with a magnifying glass, ready to uncover the hidden gems of wisdom. And boy, oh boy, only you latch onto an idea or problem, you're like a dog with a bone, determined to crack the code and unleash your genius upon the world. You go, Gemini. July 5th, Geminis. Now is the perfect moment to get your money matters in order because you're super smart and dependable. It's a great idea to splurge on fancy stuff like jewelry and art that only get more valuable with time. No room for boring or silly stuff. You're all about the good stuff now. Hanging out with an old pal or a wise, mature mentor who's got lots of wisdom to share will totally make your day. All right. Well, thank you again for joining me, y'all, and I will catch you next week. Later.